Hello and welcome everybody to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. How the heck are you, Twins territory? I am your host and I'm your only host for today's episode. My name is Sweet Lou Hennessy and I am coming to you after the Twins dropped the home opener to the Houston Astros by a score of 5-2. It was a beautiful day at the ballpark. I was there with my family and some friends. I thought it was going to be pretty chilly for the Twins' first home game here, but once the sun came out, it was honestly a beautiful day, and there's no place better than Target Field, playing hooky from work on a nice Thursday afternoon, their first home game, welcoming them back into Twins territory after taking the last two games against the Chicago White Sox. Like I said, Greg and Cody are not here today. They, you know what I say, dead to us. They are gone. They are gonzo. But we're going to keep it pretty short today. One, because I am not a veteran at using this StreamYard technology, so bear with me for any of these technical difficulties. But also, I'm just not going to talk for 45 minutes straight. That's something that I feel like Greg would be really good at, but I unfortunately am still, my voice is better. I like to think that it's getting a lot better, but as you heard in the last episode, it was pretty shot by the end of last week. But let's talk about it. The walk-off question that I had prepared was inspired by today's promotional giveaway at the gate. The Twins gave out their classic stocking caps with the little bomb on top. They were the colors of the Twins' new City Connect jerseys from last year. Those kind of that blue with the flash of yellow on the trim. So the question that I have is, what giveaway item should the Twins add to their promotional calendar this year? I know they've already announced it, but if you were in charge, what would you love? What would you be willing to wait in line for in terms of those promotional giveaways? So think about that for a few minutes while I riff here. But for right now, we are going to jump on down to our rapid recap. Look at that. I got the music going all on my own. Usually it's producer Greg doing that. I know we say producer Lenny, but Greg is doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Greg actually has a statement that he wanted me to read aloud as to why he's not at today's episode. So let me pull that up here. Greg's official statement. It says, "I would love to have joined the show today. However, there was a burning orphanage and I lost my foot. My foot was due to the gout, and the orphanage is unrelated but tragic. My thoughts on the Twins," and then he has in parentheses, "in your most Patrick Royce voice, they stink." That's a terrible Royce. Patrick, I know you're a friend of the show. You listen to every episode. That's the best I could do. This is the best I could do on short notice. But that was Greg's statement. Cody did not have a statement. He weaseled out of this one. But we will make sure to catch up with him down the line. But here we are at the rapid recap since our last show. Our last show was right after opening day when the Twins dropped their opener to the St. Louis Cardinals and all 26 of their trucks that brought them in that day. So since that time, the Twins went 0-2 against the St. Louis Cardinals, 2-1 against the Chicago White Sox, and then they lost today's game against the Houston Astros. So I figured we would talk about who's hot, who's not, any sort of minor leaguers that are catching our eye at the moment. Let's start with who's not, and I'm going to start with something off of the actual Twins roster. Twins TV has been super smooth for me lately. I know that there's a lot of ballyhoo about how they were going to introduce it, how they were going to make sure that people could have access to these games. It's been working really well for me and for my family, and the stream has been very strong. The broadcast, as expected, has been really nice. They even have those kind of fun stats that come up in the corner when something notable happens. That's performed by friend of the show, Brandon Warren, and some of the folks down over there, I believe, at Sport Radar. So that's something to look out for these Twins TV broadcasts. I'm also really excited that they announced that There would be 10 additional over-the-air, free over-the-air broadcasts that are coming down the line. I want to say it's Tuesday nights mostly throughout the season. Will be on Fox 9 or just on basic cable. So I think that's great for just outreach for the Twins and for baseball in general. Just get it to as many households as possible, as simple as possible, because as much as I love the Twins TV product, I could see a lot of folks really struggling and actually just getting their foot in the door for watching these games on that streaming platform. But as far as the team, as far as who's hot, the options are limited right now. The team is 2-5 so far. Still very early, super small sample sizes, but I'm going to say Byron Buxton is getting hot. He's had a couple of hits. He had a couple of hits today. He had a big home run the other day. His OPS is just up to 669 right now, which is right around league average, maybe just under league average. And I'm sure as the season goes on, that will be slightly below. But offense is always really cool league wide in April. So Byron Buxton heating up, especially after the top three of Matt Wallner, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton. They went 0 for 24 to start the season or something like that. So we will take what we can get, especially from these star players as they start cold. But Byron Buxton is certainly heating up. We got to talk about Willie Castro. I got my foot in my mouth at this point right now because I actually had Willie Castro. I drafted him when Greg and I, a couple episodes, drafted our least valuable player candidates, folks that we thought would, by the end of the year, accrue negative value for the team. So Willie Castro, I take that back. I think I drafted him like 6th or 7th overall. He was later on for sure, but nevertheless, I picked him. I said that I could see him faltering. He still definitely could, but so far he has an 868 OPS. He's been driving in some runs, even in some of these games when it seems like the Twins can't seem to find a hit anywhere. It seems like he's been pretty productive and wreaking a little havoc on the base paths. Got to bring up the new guy, Harrison Bader. I think that if he keeps this up, he's going to be a fan favorite for good reason. He's got those flowing locks of golden hair. He's super fast. So far, he's got 3 bombs on the year and some good hits. So I am looking forward to Harrison Bader getting some more playing time and really making a name for himself, maybe becoming a household name this year and seeing where things go. That could be pretty fun. On the pitching side, Pablo looked excellent against the Chicago White Sox, which is, to be expected in that finale, that game 3. But nevertheless, it was good to see him back on the mound and just absolutely shoving against a team that he needs to shove against. So we will gladly take that from Mr. Pablo. I have actually also been super impressed with Jorge Alcala. I thought that he was going to be kind of one of the last guys in the bullpen picture there, at least on the depth chart to start the year. And honestly, he might still be, but he came in, I believe it was game 2 or game 3 against the Chicago White Sox, and he threw one ball, and Ryan Jeffers went out immediately and had a little meeting with him, just a little conversation. I would love to know what he talked about, because as soon as he came back, Alcala went on and pitched like 11 strikes and 13 pitches and struck out the side or something. He looked excellent. He showed that exact upside that the Twins have seen in him. He had that plus fastball, that 2-seamer that is going 98 miles per hour with a ton of movement. If he can really rein it in, or just remember what Jeffers told him when he went out there after that first pitch that he threw, Alcala is going to be a huge weapon for this team. So I am very happy to have Jorge Alcala. He pitched today. He had another strikeout and a clean inning, no hits, no walks. So I've been really impressed with him too. I've been half impressed by Louis/Lewis/Sweet Lou Varland. There are some at-bats where he looks completely dominant, and then he just lays an absolute cookie and they hit a home run off of him, which has kind of been his Achilles heel for the past few years. But you know what? Let's hope he can keep learning, keep developing, and keep those opportunities coming for Mr. Louis Varland, now firmly in the bullpen picture. That's my extent of who's been hot so far. Like I said, it's been 7 games, but there's still some, even with 2-5 being the record, I think there's still some players to be pretty excited about here. As far as who's not, it's a lot. It's a lot of the lineup here. We could start with Carlos Correa. Yes, I think there's been a lot said about how he's been pretty unlucky. He's been hitting the ball very hard, just kind of right at people. But there's also been some pretty key points where he's come up with two outs and a guy on, and he's struck out looking, working the count full and then guessing wrong on the pitch and watching something straight down the middle. We've seen that already a few times. I'm not ready to say that it's some massive problem. It's still early on in the year, but it is frustrating, especially for a team like the Twins right now, who, a slower start than they were hoping for, and they need their star to kind of pick it up right here. His batting average is still under 100. Hopefully he can kind of climb out of this and propel forward, because they are going to need him. It's not like they're going to, move him out of that 2-hole or at least the top of the lineup anytime soon. He's still your marquee player. He's still been excellent in the field. I got to say, he's had a few diving catches. He's had some really good plays that he's had to come in on that has gotten the Twins out of a few jams. So you can at least count on him to play that stellar defense. I think there's been some speculation that maybe he's hiding some sort of, I shouldn't say hiding, that he's dealing with some sort of injury. Could very well be, but I think that there's plenty of guys that came out of spring a little dinged up. For what it's worth, he hasn't said anything to that effect. He hasn't made any sort of excuses about his play and about the team's play. So I've appreciated the comments that he's given after games in this limited stretch so far. Another player who is in the who's not category, I think we got to talk about Jose Miranda. He has looked pretty lost at the plate so far, just hitting everything into the ground, which you could say about a lot of different players here. Oh, what a surprise here. I am going to bring in a friend of the show. We are adding Cody Schoenman. What Showtime Schoenman. I am here. I've been recording for about 12 minutes on my own, and here he comes. We are bringing in a ringer. Cody, what is going on, my friend?
Oh no. I'll explain to you off camera, but a lot of stuff is going on. But we're good. I'm here to talk about everyone's favorite 2-5 club.
Oh, perfect. That's what a coincidence. That's what I'm talking about right here. Cody, I figured we would keep this episode pretty short, so whatever you're dealing with, you can get right back to it. But while you're here, let's catch you up on the walk-off question that I introduced, and that was, what should the Twins add to their promotional giveaway calendar? Today, they gave out their free stocking caps with the City Connect hats. I think they could get a little more creative with it. I'd love to know what you come up with in a few minutes here. But that is our walk-off question, and I was just going through our rapid recap. So, Cody, who has caught your eye for who's hot and who's not? You can take it either direction you want.
Yeah, so the Twins broadcast is in love with this guy, but Harrison Bader, I've been really impressed with him so far. Yep. I know he has the 3 home runs, which has been really impressive. Those, I think all of them have been on off-speed pitches in breaking balls, to be specific, which is really interesting. I saw that he wears this mouthpiece thing where apparently it increases your bat speed by like 5%. And there's
is that so?
Huge, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's like part of his whole because you know how he has the Lady Liberty arm sleeve and then everything is that color. So yeah, I just think even beyond baseball, he just seems like a guy with like a very cool aesthetic and very cool vibe, and I'm very happy to have him in Minnesota. The other new guy too, Ty France. I know he's been less impressive than Bader at the plate, but he has been impressive overall, and I think he's going to prove to be a good addition this year. Obviously, he's not going to be as good as Santana was defensively, but he's impressed for the most part over there. I mean, there hasn't been too many tough plays, but I think he's been steady. I think he's definitely not the -12 OAA guy he was last year with Seattle and Cincinnati. So I think that would prove to be a nice addition, especially at $1 million. I think the 2 stars are turning the corner too in Correa and Buxton, which I'm really happy to see. I had a piece on Twins Daily recently that was called Carlos Correa is on the precipice of breaking through at the plate. And I think he is. And I think he's hitting the ball very hard. He has a 99th percentile bat speed, 96th percentile I forgot the stat. I'm sorry, but
That's
he
all right.
makes, he makes
I didn't realize his bat speed was looking so good there. I know that he's hit a lot of screaming liners right at people. He's gotten pretty unlucky. I would still say he's starting off slow, but like you
yeah.
said, some of the under the hood numbers are suggesting that it has been kind of bad luck. I did bring up Byron Buxton as who's hot, even though his OPS is still under 700 or something right now. He is turning it around, especially in these last couple of games. That's been really exciting to see. So yeah,
Yeah.
very, very well said for sure.
I mean, we're talking about small sample size too, and I think if you look at it from a process-oriented lens, I think Correa and Buxton are due, and I think they will be really good this year. It's just not happening yet.
Sure. I think that's fair. And you know what? They at different points in their career have been pretty streaky players, especially Buxton. I think Correa has kind of a tendency to maybe start a little slow, make some adjustments, and then he goes on a prolonged run. It seems like he's done that a few times in his career. Byron Buxton is like 1 month he's the best player on the planet, the next he's either hurt or swinging through everything. So you can expect some long streaks for sure. How about a minor leaguer? Any minor leaguers so far catching your eye? I know that AAA is the only team that has actually started so far, but you could take that from somebody on the AAA roster. You could talk about somebody who's just about to start at AA or single A. Anybody catching your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is talked about often, and it was also talked about on the broadcast day too. But the Twins pitching pipeline is definitely here, and the AAA staff is just incredible. It's incredible. Festa, Zebby, Andrew Morris, all through shutouts.
They all threw 5 innings with like 5 or 6 strikeouts each. They were all showing kind of career high numbers in either velocity or some of their swinging miss stuff. They looked super impressive for sure. Any of those 3 in particular that you were really excited about?
Zebby. I mean, he's the obvious answer. I mean, he hit like 98, was it 99 on his fastball? His off-speed stuff is turning the corner. I'm also really excited about Andrew Morris too. I know. Derek Falvey mentioned him specifically on guys that he thought had really great springs. So I think we'll see him this year for sure too. I wonder if Simeon's. It's only been 1 start, but if his velocity doesn't pick up and he just proves to be rather ineffective, I wonder if they turn to Festa or Zebby and who would win the competition between those two. I mean, I said this in an earlier episode, but I almost feel like Zebby has the upper hand on Festa right now.
It could be. I was listening to the most recent episode of the Destination the Show podcast, which is our friends Jamie Cameron and Jeremy Nygaard. Sorry, did I say Jeremy Cameron? Jamie Cameron, Jeremy Nygaard. And they were talking about this battle here. They kind of came to the conclusion that maybe Zebby has the upper hand, but it also just could come down to scheduling. Say that Chris Paddock goes down with an injury, or any one of the MLB rotation mates go down with an injury. It might just be whoever's lined up, however it shakes out between those top 2, top 3 guys. But all 3 are looking exciting, especially with Zebby Matthews. He looks like he's filled out a little bit, just his frame, just kind of the start that I was looking at the other day. Not that he was some sort of string bean, especially compared to somebody like David Festa, who is very much thin as a rail. Zebby looks like he's added some muscle. He's added a little bit of mass to his already pretty big frame, and that's exciting. And we're seeing it in the results too, just how hard he's throwing, not just with his fastball that's up a couple of ticks. You mentioned that it was hitting 98, pushing 99 in that start. His other offerings are also up a mile or 2 per hour. His slider's got everything. So very exciting to see. I think Zebby is going to be huge. I think he's going to be absolutely stellar. I'm not at the Jamie Cameron level of assuring everybody that he's going to be the next Garrett Cole, but Jamie, please come back down to earth, my friend. Of course, but no, very exciting. Love Zebby Matthews. Very good call. How about any offensive players? Anybody so far? Like we said, super small sample size, but anybody catch your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see how the catching tandem works out down there between Cartaya and Camargo.
Sure.
Obviously, Jeffers and Vasquez are supplanted on the roster as long as they're healthy, but I've always been pro Christian Vasquez as long as he's been in Minnesota, but I feel like at the plate, I don't think it's going to happen. And I feel like we're going to have the guy again this year with a 50 WRC plus in May. And obviously, you're not going to DFA him. I don't think teams will take on the contract, but he also was a catcher, so you never really know. It's just very interesting. But I mean, I wonder who's going to emerge out of Camargo and Cartaya by like mid-season as like who is the actual third catcher on the roster. I know Patrick Winkle is going to get opportunity too. I don't think he's in the same vein as those guys, so he's probably not even worth mentioning. But I mean, I'm really interested to see how Cartaya and Camargo compete down there and see who kind of gets the upper hand and see who takes over as Jeffers' backup next year. But that's more down the road. Another guy I'm a broken record on is Luke Keeschel. I'm just very excited to see him going forward. It's nice to see that Emmanuel Rodriguez's thumb injury wasn't serious. And,
yes.
He's going to hopefully turn the corner. Although I am very confident in the Twins outfield right now. I think Kersey provides, great depth as a fifth outfielder. He can really break the game open with the speed. I know they had the outfield trio of Bader, Buxton, and Kersey a couple of games ago, and that's arguably the best defensive outfield you can get in baseball right now.
Right.
So as long as that, those five players are doing well, I'm fine with Emma developing in AAA, but I think he will play a role on this year's team. But yeah, I mean, there's just some other organizational depth. I know Ryan Fitzgerald at shortstop. I know Nick Nelson wrote a piece recently where Twins don't have much shortstop depth right now. And I know Edward Julian played an inning at shortstop the other day. So, he's been interesting. He's actually performed above average at AAA from a WRC plus perspective in Boston's organization. So he's a guy who maybe could even be used as a utility infielder. I mean, I'm kind of talking about really, really, really fringe players right now.
Sure.
But he's just somebody to keep an eye on. He's I think 30 or 31. But we kind of get really focused on these on the young guys. But I think there is some value in talking about like the older AAA guys too, because they will be the people who get opportunities. If you need to bring a guy up and then have him get DFA'd a couple days later, like the new pitcher. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Darren McCacken. Yeah, he's actually done pretty well since he came up too. Yeah,
he was looking very good today, coming in, getting some of the garbage time at the end of the game there. Okay, well, very cool. Like I said, we're going to keep it a pretty short show today, so I think we should move on over to everybody's favorite segment, but with a twist. This is Greggory Gripes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, so like we said, you can see here, Greg is not with us today. So instead, it is going to be Sweet Lou and Cody Schoenman. We are going to talk about our gripes that we have about Greggory. These are Greggory-specific gripes. I'm going to start here. I think it's so crazy that Mr. Greggory T. Masterson goes out of his way, multiple times every podcast to insist that he's this super handsome devil, that people compliment him all the time on his really good looks. When he tells people his celebrity lookalike, he goes straight for Brad Pitt, notorious for being one of the best looking actors in the history of Hollywood. And yet, after all this time of Greg insisting that he's just so handsome, that he looks so good like Brad Pitt, he never shows his face, shows it. It's pretty convenient to compare yourself to one of the best looking guys when you will absolutely refuse to show your face. Greg, that's my biggest gripe for you. Cody, I'm passing the ball to you.
I agree on the face thing. Just show it.
Show it.
Show your face.
What are we waiting for?
You don't have to say your government name. Just show your face.
Yeah, we're not asking for your social security number and your mom's maiden name and stuff. Yeah. We're not trying to steal your identity. Show your face.
I am asking for his credit card information, but that's a separate thing.
Sure.
My complaint is I feel like he almost likes to bait and switch me sometimes in the sense that he tells me that I'm the one who always makes things political, but then he'll go on these political rants and he'll impersonate political figures. And then he'll be like, oh, but you're the one, he gaslights me. He's like, you're the one who makes it political. You always got to be communist, all this stuff. And it's like, Greg, you're the one who did a Jordan Peterson impression for a minute straight there. I didn't even bring it up, and then so he does. He likes to play these mind games almost. It's like it's gaslighting on camera. it destroys my mental state, and then it's recorded and people can see it, and it breaks me down as a human being. So yeah, that's my biggest gripe with him. He really makes me a shell of myself.
Yeah.
On
You know
camera.
what? While we're on the topic too, he has these opinions where he says that like baseball movies suck, and yet he's only seen like 2 movies ever. I'm pretty sure he grew up in a household that like didn't have a TV or something. He was one of those kids. You can't say that baseball movies suck, dude. I think that that's a great subgenre of movies. I know that, Cody, I feel like you maybe are in the same boat. I know you didn't like Field of Dreams. You were on, but that I can accept that if you don't like one here or there. But like, you don't say that all baseball movies suck and then refuse to watch any of them. There's some classic baseball movies that are really good time. Really good films. And I think it's just a shame that he's going to tarnish their reputation like that when he has only tried 1 or 2, and it just bugs me. It's like people that say that Thanksgiving turkey sucks. No, you just suck at making Thanksgiving
Yeah.
turkey. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's another one I got. Anything else that grinds your gears about our dear friend Gregory
Yeah,
Masterson?
just like say your age, man, or at least come close. Like give us a real age range. Like one day he'll be, oh, I'm an 87-year-old man, and then one day, and then the 10 minutes later he'll say, oh, as a mid-20s stat nerd. So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
make up your mind. What is your age? What is your generation? Where do you come from? Like who can you relate to? We need to know. We need some consistency with this person. You
My
know?
yeah, for sure. I think my last one is just that every once in a while he comes out with these crazy hot takes of like, chocolate milk is for children, ice cream is un-American, or you know what I mean, just like random things like that. And who hurt you? Who hurt you, Greg?
Yeah.
We're here to comfort you. We can be chocolate milk for you, my friend. So
Yeah.
you know what, do you have anything else you want to get off your chest? Otherwise I think we'll keep on moving on here.
Yeah, I mean, he's very demeaning to professional baseball players.
Mm.
You don't make fun of Manuel Margot. Don't call him Manny Magoo. You don't know what he goes through in life.
What
Joe-
what what if Manny heard like episode 2 last year or something where he first referenced him as Manny Magoo, and then from there it's just head games and he just could not come through with a pinch hit opportunity? That's a self-fulfilling prophecy for Greg's
Exactly.
jersey
And then
there.
now he's in Detroit and he's better
Mm,
and he's going to spite the Twins this year and it's going to be because of Greg. But Manny Margot's never going to say that, right? He's not
yeah.
going to say some F-list celebrity is the reason why I hated Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stop demeaning Manny Magoo. Stop being mean to Joey Gallo. These are real people.
They got feelings, Greg.
Feelings, Greg. Not everybody suppresses their feelings because they were born in 1930 allegedly.
Either 1930 or like 2006.
Yeah,
It's one
we
or
don't
the
know.
other. Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, well, I think we've probably done enough griping on our dear friend Greg. Of course, this is all in jest. We love him. We love you, buddy. I know that you're going to listen to this right away, and we can't wait to have you back probably sometime in the middle of next week. But for right now, let's boogie on down. Like we said, it's going to be a short episode this week, so we're skipping some of the big inning stuff. We're going to skip picks to click until Greg can be back for that too. Cody, I have not been looking at the scoreboard. I'm sorry if you earned a win between the last show and this show, as far
I
as most
hope.
hits. But at the very least, you'll probably, if that was the case, you will have the leg up for when we do our next picks to click. But for right now, let's boogie on down and play an edition of The Closer. Okay, so since we just have a few minutes, I thought that we would play a fun round of 20 questions. I have a player at the top of my head here, and Cody gets 20 yes or no questions to try to figure out who I'm thinking of. Cody, this is not somebody back in 1972 or
Okay.
something. This is somebody in let's see, the last 15 years, so you should be able to remember it.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
so I already gave you a head start about telling you when they played here, but I just wanted to
Okay.
assure you. So we're going to say that that's your first question. All right. So you are
Okay.
down to 19 questions. Go ahead, my friend.
Was Ron Gardner his manager?
Yes.
Was Paul Molitor his manager?
No.
Okay. Was he an outfielder?
No.
Was he an infielder?
No.
Was he a catcher?
No.
Really quick, this isn't a question, but do catchers count as infielders?
One that is absolutely a question, and you are already up to 7. I would say no. I'll give you that. No.
Okay. So pitcher.
Yes, that is your 8th question.
Are they a reliever?
Yes.
Were they a closer?
Yes. You are at 10 questions, the official halfway mark.
Okay. Do they have 2 first names?
No.
Okay, so it's not Joe Nathan. Okay. Oh gosh. Were they a plus size individual?
Yeah, reasonably. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Is it Matt Capps?
It is Matt Capps. Congratulations, Cody. You got that one in 13 questions. That's very well done, my friend. You had some basic ones in there, but that's good. Do you want to? Let's see. I have another name here. Do you want to do another quick round, or should we save?
Sure.
All right, let's do it real quick.
Okay.
I'm positive that you've heard of this player. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say when they played or anything, but I'm positive you've heard of them.
Okay. I'll start off with manager again. Was Rocco Baldelli their manager?
No.
Okay. Was Paul Molitor?
Yes.
Okay. Were they an infielder?
No.
Okay. Were they an outfielder?
No.
Okay. Were they a starting pitcher?
Yes, and that's your 5th question.
Okay. Did they start an opening day game?
No. Wait. I would have to look that up. Not for the Twins. I'll say that.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Were they acquired via trade by
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Was that team the Tampa Bay Rays?
Never played for the Tampa Bay Rays, so no.
Can I return to my? Okay, I'm going to ask a question I already asked. You said Molitor was the manager, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Different team. Okay. Were they left-handed or right-handed? Wait, sorry. Were they left-handed?
They were. Oh, yes, left-handed.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Jaime Garcia.
It is Jaime Garcia. Dude, that was your 10th question. Well done, my friend. That was very good. He was acquired by the Minnesota Twins, pitched exactly 1 start, and then they shipped him off to the New York Yankees, where he pitched, I don't know, probably pitched 8 games with the Yankees for the rest of that year. So 1 game with the Twins, 8 with the Yankees. He actually had a higher win above replacement with the Minnesota Twins versus the New York Yankees. He had 0.1 wins above replacement, and he was in the negative with the Yankees. So just a very funny character to have in Twins history. But you know what? Let's scoot on down. We'll talk about our walk-off question before we boogie on out of here. So with the Twins promotional giveaway that they handed out today, it got me inspired. What would you like to see on the promotional calendar? One idea that I had was the Mickey Gasper mustache, kind of like they had the Joe Mauer sideburns, you know? I think that it'd be so fun to see everybody wearing these push broom mustaches. By the way, I'm calling him Mickey Push Broom. I'm really trying to get that to stick. And if he doesn't start hitting, I'm not going to get much of a runway to get that nickname going. So Mickey Push Broom mustache. Cody, do you have any ideas for a promotional giveaway item?
Yeah, so there's a couple of Twins players who have some pretty decent flow. I mean, Joe Ryan's hair has been short lately, but remember when he was a rookie, he had like insane hair. I
hope he goes back to that. Honestly,
it was beautiful. I loved it. And Bader, it's not as long as it was in St. Louis, but he has the locks. So maybe they gave out some like wigs with just like some absolute flow with like a bandana. Because Bader has like the colorful bandana. So, or maybe even a Twins hat. So a hat with just some flow going out the back would be funny, I think. So that's
good.
That'd be a funny promo, probably for Bader specifically, since Ryan's hair is shorter now.
Sure. Yeah, dude, Bader's got just such a look. He's got those flowing locks. He's a crop top boy. He wears his pants pretty tight. I'm worried he's going to be my wife's new favorite player.
Oh,
But
if I had a wife, she'd be my wife's favorite player.
okay, perfect. Good to know. Good to know. Um, Yeah, so those would both be pretty fun. Another one I had was the Trevor Larnach tip calculator. He has a reputation for not being a generous tipper, which might not be fair. Maybe it was one time, who knows even. But I put the Trevor Larnach tip calculator because you know what? I like a little utility in these promotional items too. I love a nice magnet calendar. That's like my favorite thing because I use it literally every day to check on games and stuff. So a tip calculator might be kind of nice. Okay, well, that's all we got for today's episode. The Twins are about to embark on a 12 games in 12 days streak, and we at the Twins Off Daily Podcast, we don't want to wait for a whole 2 weeks before our next episode. So we will probably come back in the middle of this stretch, probably sometime next week, with at least a short little episode, maybe just a few games, something small. But we want to this season. We definitely want to come in a little more frequently, or at least a more regularly, I should say. So if there are these long streaks where they have 2 weeks without an off day, we might sneak in the middle there and just throw some content your way. We hope that it's well received. We hope that you keep wanting to listen to us. We hope that you've been having some fun listening to the Twins Off Daily Podcast and what is now our second season. Please leave us a good review. Please leave us a bad review if you don't like it too. That's fine. That'll be funny. We'll definitely read that on air. So please leave us a review. Please share with your friends. We'd love to continue growing this because it's so fun to hear from some of you, and we'd like to keep it going. Cody, anything you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to plug before we get on out of here?
Yeah, I mean, Larnach needs to wear less cologne too. Allegedly, I've heard.
Really?
He's very. I'm assuming the same post. And they also said that he wore a lot of cologne.
Somebody shredding Trevor Larnach in all the Reddit boards.
On Reddit boards. No, so I think I'm gonna write a piece coming up soon on the concept of the pitching pipeline. I kind of want to argue that it's already been here for a while, and I count guys like Joe Ryan and Simeon Woods Richardson and some of the relievers as products of that, even though they were drafted by other organizations. So I think I'm going to work on that soon. Otherwise, you can still read my Harrison Bader's leaving the Twins to join Vampire Weekend piece.
That's trying to milk that.
He decided to come back, so we're happy that he's not with Vampire Weekend, though we do love the band. So yeah, check out those pieces.
Nice. Yeah, we will definitely do that. We will be excited to read your piece there about the pitching pipeline. So for Cody Schoenman, for the absent Gregory T. Masterson, who is now dead to us, I am Sweet Lou Hennessy. Thank you so much for joining, and we will catch you next time. And as always, stay sweet.